Okay, this is my energy system in my Sprinter van. So all my batteries and all of my electronics are all in this drawer. This is actually going to be the galley, so why did I put the energy system right in the drawers amongst the pans and pots? It just seemed to be the best place. In a Sprinter, there's no underneath bays anyway, so everything has to fit somewhere in the cabinetry. This area has a wheel hump uh, on these two sides, which preclude a full-size drawer anyway. So this drawer is a two-step. It's deep in the front and shallow in the back. So here it is. So this is on a drawer, set of drawer glides, four drawer glides, and it pulls out for servicing. And I put these silly lights here because you got to have that. It's like Back to the Future, right? So, but they drive me crazy. So I can turn them off and work on it, or show you what I did here. So everything is really tight, and I almost got carried away and made it too tight, and it made it really hard to work on it. You can see how small everything is close to each other, but that's actually good because you want these fat 4-aught wires and things to be as short as possible to reduce voltage drops. So there's a piece of 1/2-inch clear plexiglass, just like this one, which is a cover that goes on here. And there's another piece that all these mount to, and then it's mounted above the batteries. So the three big giant batteries are down below underneath here, and you can kind of see depth-wise. If you get to the side here, you can see that this drawer is about 20 inches deep. So the batteries are, I don't know, 11 inches deep, I believe it was. And so then that's a great idea because batteries, cables like this, they go right in to the copper bus bar that connects the three, the three batteries. This one also is the positive that comes. So that's fine, but if I ever have to replace the batteries, it's a nightmare because I have to undo some of the stuff, and then lift this whole unit up and slide it over. So it's not real smart for that, but it's compact, and the whole drawer weighs about 110 pounds. And so all of the components are in this drawer. This is the solar charge controller. It's a Midnight Solar. It's a tall thing, so I put it in this deep part of this box. And over here are the IOTA 55 amp battery charger, and the Progressive Industries EMS, they call it. It's a surge protector and a ground fault interrupt connector, detector. And that's when you plug into a campground pedestal, it checks to make sure everything's fine before it sends the power. And it sends the power, the short power, it sends it into the inverter and back out. So the inverter has a transfer switch in it. This thing is a fan speed controller, thermostat. So these 5 little 3.5-inch fans are 27 CFM each. And they eject heat up and out the top of the box, and the cool air comes in to the bottom where you see this. You can kind of see my foot down there. So there's 2 holes at the bottom, the toe kick of the cabinet, and that's where the input air comes in. The exhaling air, the heat that would be possibly generated when you're drawing a lot of power, the inverter puts out heat, etc. The solar controller does as well, and even the battery charger generates some heat. The batteries really don't generate much heat, but when these other things might be warm on the summer day, the heat's going to go up and into a wooden ductwork. It goes along the wall, up and over to the right, and it'll go up behind the microwave and the toaster oven. So we're total electric here, no plumbed propane at all. This is a induction cooktop, And we'll have a toaster oven, a microwave, an Instant Pot, and a blender, and everything's total electric. So I have 300 amp hours of lithium and 650 watts of solar on the roof. So if I can hold this camera still so you don't get seasick here, this is all of the circuit breakers, bus bars, and little brain boxes that you need that are usually spread out more in a larger bay, but here they're just wall to wall, just totally crammed. This is a contactor, so it's a big 400 amp relay basically, and this box is the BMS for the batteries. That's a battery monitoring system, and it has this little cable that goes to a little circuit board that's screwed onto each of the cells. There's 12 different cells, and each one is monitoring the the voltage and the temperature of each cell. And this has a display I'll show you in a minute, and it has a contactor that'll shut off once the batteries get too low, and another different contactor that shuts off any charging sources when the batteries get too full. So like the solar or the pedestal charger, I don't have alternator charging yet. Not sure if I'll be adding that. Here are some fuses that are related to the connections here, but the main circuit, fuses are elsewhere. And so this is the shunt, and this is the thing that does the main work of the BMS. It looks at the state of charge of the batteries. So, and then these are plastic power wire handlers, and so what they do is they just keep cables from getting tangled. And I have one on each side, and there's cables, a lot of cables that had to come and go to and from this battery box. So those were kind of neat because they keep the wires from getting tangled. So that's that, and then this will all be nice cabinetry, just like I have already here for galley upper wall cabinets, and I have one other cabinet that's done. So all of these cabinets will be that beadboard. This is the control panel. And these lights are too bright, so I have to do something about them. But this is the battery monitoring system display, and it shows us how much charge we have, and you can page through here, and it'll show you every cell, temperature, and voltage, and some more information. So basically that tells you where you're at charge-wise and voltage-wise. You can tell that we're full right now at 100%. The charger, solar kicks on periodically in this mode, but the sun is set, and so it's not doing anything right now. And this is the solar charge controller, and it should be showing some things too, but this cable, interface cable, has to be replaced. There's something wacky about it, so I'm going to replace that. This is a diesel-fired water and space heater, and this is that Progressive Industries EMS. So if we were plugged into a pedestal right now, this would be showing the voltage of the pedestal. Some of these other switches, this is how I tilt my solar panels up on motors, and this is how I tilt up the Wi-Fi repeater antenna and some other things. So this whole display section here, the switch cabinet, is accessible and serviceable. So I can get to everything, and all the wires go behind here, and then they go behind up to these 24 fuse positions, and then they go into the wall. And so inside the wall is foam, so I had to run every wire, before spraying the foam. So that's the state of the van where it's at right now. So obviously I have a lot of work to do cabinetry wise, but the hard part, all the stuff above and below is done. All the infrastructure stuff, the heater, water, waste tanks, and the all the roof stuff, dual awnings, etc. So I'm actually on schedule to be done here by this next summer. So that's it.